What is up, guys? Today we are going to be ranking all of the Fortnite named locations on the map, and we are going to start off hot with our number 19 location. There is 19 locations on the map currently, and number 19 we have, well, I'll show it to you when we get there, I guess. In 19th place we have Twinkle Terrace. I know there may be some people who like these locations, but just bear with me. There's really nothing special about Twinkle Terrace. It's sort of on the edge of the map. It's got no real trademark to land there every time, no reason. And for half of the season, it seems like they're gone. There was these annoying bots that would spawn constantly and shoot and just clog up your feed of audio. So for that reason, it was the clear last place for me. There was no real debate. And we are going to move right on to number 18. Coming in at number 18, we have Whiffy Warf. Now, this location is pretty cool that it's near the water. It's got a nice design to it. But the fact that it's in the top left of the map, and almost every single game, you're going to have to run from zone after the first circle. It hurts so much to try to land here. And really, almost nobody lands here. You'll get lucky if you have one or two people to fight with. There's no real guaranteed spawns that are that great. So for that reason, it is at the bottom of this list. I could see moving it up a few spots, but I can't see putting it above like 15 at best. The design is really what carries it. There is an abundance of chests, but there's nothing really special about the location. And I will say, this season has arguably the best grouping of locations of any season. There's tons of good locations versus other seasons where there was just been a few great ones. So nothing against Whiffy Warf. It's a decent location, but it's still number 18. At number 17, we do have Shogun Solitude. I will say this may be one of the prettiest locations that has ever been put into the game of Fortnite. It was extremely well thought out and designed. It's just so far out on the edge of the map. It's something where I never really go. There's not a ton of loot compared to some other locations. So it's got to go lower on the list, but how pretty the location is really does help it. Like I said, at number 18, there's just a lot of competition with all the other locations on this map, and a big factor is how often people land here, how far out it is. Will you get circle ever? As you can tell, already didn't get circle. It's one of the only locations that didn't get circle. It was Whiffy Warf, Shoguns, and barely Twinkle Terrace. So this location is slower on the ranking scale. And we will move on to number 16. At 16, I am going to put Lost Lake. I feel like this has a very similar design to a lot of the locations, and most of the time I don't really land at Lost Lake or even realize that I'm here. So it has nothing really super unique to it. It's very pretty. It's got some nice loot. It just doesn't really stick out to me in terms of the locations, and it has no special mechanics. So we are going to stick it at 16 and move on to number 15. At number 15, we do have Shattered Spans. This is one of those locations that is in the same category as number 14, where it's just really a location that you pass by. You don't often land at. Really, people don't land at them ever. It did gain some, coolness to it, per se, with the Godzilla event, but it just destroyed it. It really is just a bridge that's been ripped in half. So for that reason, I can't rank it any higher, and honestly, the chest amount went down. So this one is 15, and then number 14 is very similar, as I had said. And we'll meet you there. At number 14, we have Foxy Floodgate. This is, like I said, another location that is more commonly passed through than actually landed at. Almost every time I go here, it has been absolutely not looted at all, specifically the inside portion, which I feel like a lot of people don't even know exists at this point. I will say it is one of the most unique locations ever added to Fortnite, and it is absolutely stunning to look at. But in terms of, usability, how often people land here, what people do here, they just pass through, it's got to be somewhere lower on this list, even though it kind of hurts to do that. So I'm going to place it at 14, and we are going to pass right on through to number 13. At 13, we do have the Kappa Factory. It may only be because it's a pickle factory that it's even this high. I find it hilarious that Fortnite, for some reason, decided to build a pickle factory. I don't know why they did that. I love the creativity and the way they're doing locations now. But it's just, as you can tell, I'm already in zone. This is first circle. I'm already in zone. It's far out here. It's got nothing super special to it other than, the cool theming of it. So it can't really go any higher. So we are going to place the Kappa Factory at number 13. At number 12, I do have Canyon Crossing. This is sort of on the edge of the map, but this is going to be the highest I place a location solely based on the design of the location. It is so cool that they placed this over one of the canyons that they built in the mountains. It is a falling hazard, so it's a little lower than I would normally put it, but it also has the cool zip lines that exit the location. It's got a ton of loot. It's a very big location, but like I said, it's a bit of a hazard to land at. You know, not a ton of people land here. I just came here, 15 people left, and it's completely unlooted. So the design of the location is really what carries it. So we will place it at number 12, which still is not that high, and move on. At number 11, we have Hopeful Heights, which I think some people will think I placed this too high. I personally do love this location because no one ever lands here. You have Hope here, so if you do the story, it's easy to actually land here and talk with her. This is one of the locations that is near a Godzilla portal if it does spawn, and like I said, nobody lands here, so you get to be Godzilla every time it happens. So it does have a few things that have it dear to my heart. It may be a little too high in the rankings, but this is my ranking after all, so it's going to be my number 11. At number 10, I do have Pumped Power. As bad as it is to say, it's only 10 because I really just don't have any fondness for it. I don't land here. I don't have really anything against it. It's got a lot to it. It's a well-designed location, but it's just not somewhere I land ever. So it's, you know, nothing super interesting is at Pumped Power. It's like I said, it's got a ton of chests. There is people that do land here, so if you want to get into a fight early, you can. But the location really just doesn't wow me like the locations above it. So it's getting smack dab in the middle at 10. And we are going to move on to number 9. At number 9, we do have Seaport City, which I feel like is probably the hottest take of this whole list. Some people may have this at 1. It is quite the hot drop almost every single game. I just have beef with the location personally because I fall into my death so many times. I fully understand that is my own skill issue, but I can dislike a location if I want to because this is my ranking. So we are going to put this season's, what some people might say, best location at number 9, and we're going to move on, and we're going to be okay with it. At number 8, we do have Brutal Boxcars. We are getting into the locations that are carried by their physical location on the map. I also do think that it's really cool that it is themed around the train, which is, you know, a big part of the map itself. So having a location that it kind of runs to, its, you know, port area is pretty cool to have on the map. It does have pretty good loot, a good amount of loot. The scattered trains throughout is very unique, not something that we've really seen before in Fortnite. And then, like I said at the start, it all comes back to location. So many times I've been in a fight, needed loot, I've come here just because it's towards the center of the map. It's got a lot of chests, it's got barrels, a lot of heals, and a lot of places to hide if you're getting hunted down. So we're going to put this at number 8, and we are going to move on. At number 7, we do have Magic Mosses. This may be the second best woods-based location ever added to Fortnite. It has an extremely cool hidden location underneath of it, which adds, you know, a whole nother layer of effect to the location, having something that's unique to it that we've never seen, something that, you know, you can show people and be like, oh my god, that's really cool. And then also the fact it's close to the center of the map. The locations throughout the woods aren't just like a shack. They're actually useful buildings with chests. It does have a reboot van if you're playing duos or trios or squads. So it's just a very well-designed location. It's got some good functionality to it, and it's got something extremely unique about it. So for that reason, we are going to place this at number 7, and we are really in the tier of locations at this point that are all extremely great locations. At number 6, we do have Bird. And I know most people are going to say, how is Bird number 6? This location is small. It's sort of on the outside edge of the map, so I'm kind of, you know, going against my own logic for a lot of the other locations. But how did they actually decide to name a location Bird, first off, and one being so small? I personally love it. I think it is hilarious that they named it Bird, that it's so small, it doesn't even really deserve to be a location. So for those reasons, it's number 6. It's one of my personal favorites. I know most people would not put it this high, but again, my list, my rules, Bird is 6. At number 5, we do have Demon's Dojo, which a lot of people probably would have top 3 due to the medallion. My only gripe with the location is it's pretty bland in terms of the buildings. You know, they're very standard throughout the map. So it's really carried by having that medallion that gives you the infinite ammo reloading factor when you're shooting. It's a cool looking location. It has this mountain hot spring next to it, but there is only a small amount of buildings. The boss is extremely cool, as it has stages to it, and it's kind of constantly resetting, but realistically, we'll keep this at number 5. At number 4 is Flooded Frogs. This location probably would have been a little bit lower about a month ago, but with the recent change of the water dropping, it does have that new secret room with a lot of great loot. It also offers competition for people to fight, guaranteed Typhoon Blade, so there's a lot of loot to use. For all those reasons, I have it at number 4. I could see it being a little lower, but I think this is definitely one of the top tier locations to land at. At number 3, we do have the Night Shift Forest. This may be the most beautiful location ever added to Fortnite. It has a series of unique features. You're able to actually hand a sprite to the Bush Ranger, and they're going to make a day in the forest exclusively, which is crazy. And then you also get a key to the vault, which is full of crazy loot. There's always competition that lands here. So it is really one of the more premier locations to ever be added to Fortnite. And I am completely okay with any of the top 3 locations being interchangeable. They are really just personal preference. At number 2, we do have Warrior's Watch. I think this is very similar in design to a lot of the locations, which is expected as it's the theme of the season. But it's probably the best done of all the locations. It's the largest. It's in the best location. You get the most loot out of it. When you land, there's the most competition of probably any of the locations on the map. Maybe Night Shift Forest has more. So for all of those reasons, I have it slotted at 2. I can see some people not really liking this location because it is sort of a location that's very height-based. It stacks on itself, so it's kind of confined quarters. But if you're somebody who likes that sort of fighting, this is probably somewhere you're going to land a lot. So for all those reasons, I have it at number 2, and we are going to move on to the number 1 ranked location I have for Chapter 6, Season 1. At number 1, I do have Masked Meadows. This is one of the largest locations on the Fortnite map. It honestly kind of gives off similar vibes to Pleasant Park from the OG map. It has a lot of loot. I love the underground tunnel system that it has. It's extremely unique. It's sort of one of the first times Fortnite did something like that. And it's not just a small room. It goes under the whole location. There's multiple spots you can get in and out. There's parts of the story that come here. So, you are able to come here frequently and accomplish tasks, get XP from it. There's a Typhoon Blade that constantly spawns here. There's always people here fighting. It's not located necessarily in the dead center of the map, but it's easy to move out to get towards the center of the map. So for all of those reasons, I have this as my number 1 location. I know a lot of people probably would not agree, but I really, really do love that underground tunnel system. So let me know in the comments which location you like the most on this Fortnite map, what location you maybe like the least, where you disagree with this ranking. I know there's going to be a lot of people who disagree or maybe agree, but just let me know what you think.